In this video, I'm going to give you everything you need to increase conversions on your Shopify store, coming from real tips that I've worked over a 12-month period for one of my Shopify clients. So dig in and let's use these tips so you can get started today on increasing your conversions. So this is one of my clients, the conversion rate over a 12-month period. The reason I show you this is for the proof. Now, you may see with YouTube videos where they'll show you like yesterday's data, conversion rate being so high. That's just one day. What we want to be looking at is periodically how high conversion rate has been. Timing, for example, here we can see over 12 months how high, like we've hit nearly 10% conversion, and that's grown throughout the year. Even with seasonality challenges, we've managed to keep that conversion above 5% of a 12-month period. So this is what we want to be looking at, proof that what we're doing with conversions is actually working. Now, let me start to dig in and give you some tips. So if we look at, for example, you've most likely heard of Hero. We're going to start with the Hero. So the Hero is a really prominent place where customers, you're directing them. So what we'll find is home pages generally get most of the traffic, whether that's from organic, brand search, paid, etc. Now, what you need to realize is if 1 million people hit this page, where we're directing them customers, because we're trying to make the customer journey as easy as possible. When we make it easier, we can direct customers down to the product that they want. So for example, Huel do it here where we're looking at manage weight. People want more protein, people want to eat healthier, people want to eat on the go. So this segmented their audience on the Shopify store here. So for a conversion rate, this is sort of further away from the bottom of the funnel, i.e. hitting buy on your Shopify product page. But what we can do is direct them from here. So for example, we can go into manage weight. What we want to be looking at here as well is to start to build trust as soon as they land. So when a customer lands, what you'll see on Shopify stores, like we'll have, a Trustpilot or Judge Me reviews, like the USA's #1 complete nutrition brand. So that's a big bold statement to say basically we're trusted as the USA, being a huge country, a lot of consumers, and we are the #1 brand within that. So if we go, for example, manage weight, first we'll go to the product page. So when we're looking at the product page, what we'll want here is being a consumer yourself, you'll go to a product page, you'll basically skim. So if we're skimming our Shopify product page, want to increase conversion, what are we putting on that page? What do our customers want to see, i.e. flavors, social proof, reviews, 4 million satisfied customers. So that's a huge sort of anchor in the customer's minds to say, I can trust this brand. They've put three elements on, 40 grams of protein, 1 complete meal. So this stacks everything there above the fold instantly. Customers don't even have to think. They can skim and see exactly what they're looking for. And then we'll look at benefits, like further in the page, what's included, how to use. Again, this is just skimmable content. In here, like the features around the product, we can see. So quickly we can build that story into the customer's mind of what they want. Now, going back a step on the product page to increase your conversion rate, we start to look at images. So images being a crucial element that a lot of Shopify brands, e-commerce brands ignore. But customers, I've watched heat tracking tools, I've watched live recordings of customers, and the amount of customers that will come in and scroll through images on mobile. So they'll click through and swipe, which is really interesting. It'll be on products that you generally think my customers are not clicking through them images. However, again, we can build that story in, what we put in the images, we're trying to connect to the customer, show them what the product is. Whatever niche you're in, just make sure your Shopify store is optimizing for images to build that story, to build that connection with your customer. And just making sure don't have like this insanely good photography and then leave that the weight of the image and have like a 30 meg image times 10 on your product page, reducing that speed, etc. What some brands like to do, also like on mobile desktop, is to have these sticky buy buttons when you're scrolling down the page. These sticky buy buttons will follow you, and they basically reduce customers having to scroll, having to find the product by now. Again, this is niche dependent. Just make sure you're A/B testing, because it could be another little micro win to increase them conversions on your website. Going back to the collection page. So when you're looking at increasing your conversions, the collection page is a huge sort of area that's going to help drive that customer. The reason I say this, because when you start to look at other Shopify brands, e-commerce brands, you'll notice that a collection page can go many different ways in terms of images, videos, huge big image thumbnails, FAQs at the bottom of the page, reviews on the page, USPs on the page, the color of the products. Some brands don't have buttons there, so there's many you can add to cart there. So there's many little sort of wins that you can do. What you want to be doing is, if you have a larger Shopify store, is just making sure that you're optimizing for the journey. So filtering, have your Shopify filtering system, your taxonomy. I'm not going to go too deep on this, but basically, if you're driving, again, 100,000 people on this every 30 days, this landing page, where we direct them, can they find the products they want to look for faster, etc. Notice how you'll use bestseller here with a small fire emoji, because they're just little anchors in the customer mind to see, oh, these are the bestsellers, without thinking about it. So they can go on. We're encouraging the customer to say, these are the bestsellers in the community. Customers, for social proof, everybody's buying this. Do you want to go ahead and investigate? Again, see what Huel have done here. They've tested and they've put images in. So they have like real life images, a fork showing the food being eaten, the pasta has been cut that's coming from the meal pack. So test images on this, because it's going to improve CTR. CTR is going to help send that customer closer to the buy button. So we're trying to constantly direct them down that journey. And just then micro wins, again, you should be testing this. Just don't leave your collection page, your Shopify theme generic. Make sure you're optimizing, testing as well. So just on this one as well, on your products and collections, what I'd be looking at is speed testing. So I'll be looking at how fast this page loads, the size of the image on it, any legacy code within the tracking tools, etc., that we may not be using, because that's another huge one that is potentially going to slow down your page. Again, what that does is just reduces that risk, that chance of conversion. So you want your pages loading quick. You can work with a Shopify developer for this. I would make sure myself these are optimized collection, because these are what driving the customer to that product page, and we make sure that's optimized for speed as well. What I like to do is use conversion blocks throughout the website. So on your Shopify theme is conversion blocks. So conversion blocks just being benefits to the customer, really highlights what the product is. Almost building that social proof. So this is a big one. What I like to do is add up here as well. We can add how it works and just have like a step-by-step. So it's quickly building that journey into the customer's mind. So having benefit blocks, especially like on the product page, again, is just going to help your conversion rate on your Shopify store. Especially within here, what I'll be looking at as well is seasonality. Like now, Christmas, you can use FOMO, fear of missing out, where customers are buying out products, and you show that on your product page. 127 people just looked at this product, there's only 5 left in stock. That's another one that can work really well to increase your conversions. I'd say do this ethically. So you're not trying to almost scam. You're trying to just be real that we're getting a lot of traffic coming to our product page. However, that's you just highlight to the customer that what actually is happening. So CRO as well, another big sort of key area on your product pages is font, text, size. So if we drop that into mobile, how does this sit in terms of mobile? So let me just inspect for you. So how does this sit now? For example, what we could do here is add USPs, delivery, how buy works, customer safety, etc. Again, you're testing here, so always be split testing. Because this works for Huel does not mean it works for your brand within your niche, etc. So what I'll be looking at is above this first fold here is what we're using on this. So they have the anchor, they have the meal, they have the free gift, they have the social proof, big title, they have the savings, etc. And then have obviously picking this, you can add a subscription. They're trying to put consumers down into that subscription here. And they're trying to get customers coming on that repeat purchase. So when you're trying to win customers, obviously the goal is to get lifetime attribution from them. So you want more conversions coming in, and you want that lifetime value, so more revenue being driven from every single customer you get, because that's how a successful Shopify brand is built, not just getting one-off payments. And then we move on to the cart. So when you're adding a flavor and you add to cart, let that load. Okay, so we're in the cart now. So the cart can go a million one ways. You'll see it on brands where they have multiple steps. we show free shipping. This is, you should be showing this. So you should be showing your free shipping to say, if you spend X amount more, you'll get free shipping, etc. We're trying to do cross sells, upsells, etc. So when a customer adds, this is looks like a really good layout. So what you're doing here is adding to your subscription. So if they're doing a one-off buy, it's customers you love to buy this. Top seller when customers are buying this product. So you're trying to, again, pull more revenue from your customers, as opposed to just doing that one-off single sale. You're trying to increase the value of the conversion. So what we're looking at, for example, every 30 day average order value of your store is £127. So we're looking to not just increase conversions, but increase that as well. So increase conversions, increase average order value, and then increase lifetime value. So there's 3 big pillars that you should be working on with your Shopify brand. Again, all these are wins across the board that you should be working on. And then we'll go on to your Shopify navigation. So navigation is a huge one that many brands just leave over the years. So you look at your primary collections, on them go to the sub collections, on them go to your Shopify products. However, this can change with intent, this can change with seasonality, this can change with product demand, etc. So you should always be looking at, what I like to do is to do a navigation detox. So I'll be looking at what pages are driving traffic, what pages are driving revenue, and then cleaning any that's not adding a value to the website. And that's how you're trying to make this as clean as possible. So if 90% of our customers are wanting to go to a certain area, i.e. build muscle, obviously that becomes a primary journey on websites, and we start to optimize the navigation around this. One key tip on this is don't just copy competitors within your niche, because it can quickly fail and you lose revenue fast. Just make sure you're optimizing. And then they're the big winners. There's other areas in between what you can be doing, that I'd be looking at. We'll look at like articles, etc., videos on the website, what goes in the footer. So a lot of key areas about your page, building your brand into it as well. So building story blocks, building story into is going to help conversion, but that we'll talk about that in another video. So take these key Shopify CRO tips, because they do work. However, they're not silver bullets. You're trying to build each one, improve each one, and overall they'll get your conversion. Like I said, this brand, my client, is we've managed to put that conversion rate up. You can see an 184% increase. Gross sales is up by 179%. Orders is up by 182%. Because I've just worked on everything I've just gone through there to improve your Shopify conversion rate. So any thoughts, go and check out my channel and go and see my website. I do a lot on LinkedIn as well. I'd love to connect and have a chat. Speak soon.